Okay. Well, welcome to Rotary on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. We will start with the anthem and pledge of
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose rushlights and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
the invocation will be given by Randall Lewis.
Please prepare yourself in the manner of your custom. Heavenly Father, we gather here today in fellowship and service, grateful for the opportunity to make a difference in our community. Bless our efforts with wisdom, compassion, and unity. Guide our hearts and hands as we strive to uplift those in need and foster understanding among them all. May our actions reflect the core values of Rotary, and may we always be instruments of peace and goodwill. Lord, bless those who are experiencing personal challenges in their lives by giving them the strength and abilities to persevere. Amen. You have your guests. Roseanne Ford. And then together, Kristen Rose. Yes, Michael Carlin. And then Dia Emerson. Yes, Jennifer. Thank you for being here.
I know we're all excited about our program today. I tried to be as supportive of the students I could in my attire, and this is what I came up with. So while we're not going on safari, we could probably see some animals that match the jacket as we go to the zoo. So we are back to normal next month. I appreciate y'all changing the schedule up once again this month. We should be meeting next Monday, which is a holiday, so I appreciate those of you that should make it today. I want to remind everyone that dues are due, and we're at our deadline for the year. Our payment to Rotary International will be due next month, and so we can only account for people who pay their dues. And I do appreciate those who are already paid, and let's make it a So now we have a first. When I was given a note that somebody wanted to do a program regarding the zoo and the anticipated penguins, I was given a name to contact, and that name was Dwayne McGregor. So when I reached out to her, she immediately said, "Oh, I'm so glad to hear from you. I have always wanted to join Rotary." And so I said, "Excellent. So Dwayne, if you'll come up here, we're going to..." Dwayne was actually made a member of Rotary last month, but this was the first time she could come to a meeting. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. I think most of you have guessed that she is associated with this booth. She's been there a long time. She's great at marketing, and her title is Marketing Public Relations Manager of the zoo. She's widowed and has 2 children and 5 grandsons. She's been with the zoo for 24 years. She likes to paint, swim, and go to plays. So I will present you with your certificate and pen, and if you'd like to say something, you can.
I'm really looking forward to being part of this group. As you mentioned, I've wanted to be a member for a long time, so thank you. I saw many people that I already know.
So, as you know, one of my favorite things to do is to introduce a new member. But in addition to that, because Dwayne was already a member and already knows our guest speaker today, I thought she would be the person to be chairman of the day. So I don't know anyone else that's joined Rotary that was introduced as a new member and then given a job on the program. So I present our chairman of the day, Dwayne McGregor.
When I asked to sign up, I didn't know I was going to be on. Well, first of all, I want to say that I'm glad that I'm talking to a member of this group. I've heard a lot about y'all in the past. Okay, can you hear me? So, as mentioned, I'm the marketing public relations manager for the County Parksville Office of the Council Society, and we are the marketing program in Marvin Zoo. And it is my pleasure that I'm going to get to introduce our new zoo director, Brendan Wiley. Brendan moved here from Topeka, Kansas, where he was the director of the Topeka Zoo and Conservation Center. And Brendan began his work in the zoo world at the Kansas City Zoo. And then he stayed there for a while and then became the director of Animal Haven, which is a nonprofit animal shelter. And then in 2010, he joined the zoo world again, and I became the director at the Topeka Zoo and Conservation Center. The staff at Cannon Park Zoo and Cannon Parksville Optical Society, we all feel very fortunate that Brendan has come into our lives, and he's got a great vision for the zoo that she's going to share part of with you on the penguin conservation, and I think everyone will really like them.
Let me just run over to the laptop real quick. Dwayne, thank you very much for that introduction. I'm not really sure how to introduce myself here. Rotary's been an important part of my life for the last 10 years or so. I'm a member of some kind of thing. In between us. But I do want to start with just saying thank you for your service. My dad was a polio survivor. So the mission and purpose of Rotary has been important to me for a long, long time. So thank you for the great work that Rotary International does. So today, I'm here to talk a little bit about Cannon Park Zoo.
We are going to get to that cumulative conversation, but I want to start someplace a little different first. And just get this out of the way. Maybe. What's going on here? Why don't we just get right to the numbers? So, on the next slide, this slide, you're going to see some numbers that I think tell a great story. Halbert here, many of you may know, has been in this community since 1955. Been at its current location for 31 years. Now, Waco, the city of Waco, has a population of just over 143,000 people. And I'm breaking that out on purpose because it's from the city of Waco that Cameron Pursuit receives its operating public support. But when we look at the city, we really need to look at the metropolitan statistical area. That is defined by the U.S. Census Bureau, consists of 3 counties. And that population is just over 304,000 people. So last year, our attendance at the zoo was 316,000, greater than the metropolitan statistical area population. And I point that out to make this. We have a saturation rate that is greater than 100%. The Dallas Zoo can't say that. The San Antonio Zoo can't say that. Houston Zoo can't say that. This zoo has been incredibly important and impactful for the community here in Central Texas that it serves. Now, were all of you at the Cameron Park Zoo last year? A lot more. The chances are not everyone is wearing one. So when you have a saturation rate greater than 100%, but not everyone in the community was there, that points to the value of a zoo being a draw. About 160,000 people out of that 316,000 came from outside of the Clinton, Oski, Falls County. Matter of fact, when Wade and I left the zoo today, there was a school bus sitting in the street of the zoo from Saleo. We've seen school trips this year from Austin all the way to Waxahachie. So that service area is broad. Now, I want to talk just a little bit about the public funding that we do receive. This current year, our operating budget is just over $11 million. Next year, we're anticipating that it's going to be about $8.8 million. And I'm going to explain here in a few minutes why the $8.8 million is actually more money than the $11 million. We have a goal to get our attendance. I mentioned last year it was 316,000. We have a goal to get that up to about 435,000 annual attendance. If we can do it, it'll take 5 to 7 years. But we've got the perfect facility, the right community, and a great team to make that happen. So I do want to acknowledge what others have acknowledged already. You know, it's funny. Cameron Park Zoo really doesn't exist, at least not to the IRS. It's a facility of the city of Waco that is operated through a public-private partnership with the Cameron Park, the Cameron Park Zoological and Botanical Society. And then really, when you look at how the zoo moves from its original location to its current location, and you look at how the new projects that are being built are funded, all of McLennan County has skin in the game. Cameron Park Zoo. It's a beautiful model that shows progress and promise every day. So, I want to take you to this question. Do zoos matter? And strange question for the zoo guy to ask. So, the next part of the presentation is going to explain why I believe that the answer is yes. And then we're going to talk about some of the new projects that are getting ready to come online at the zoo. And then we're going to put a bow on this thing as to why all of this is important. So there is a traditional why as to why communities have zoos. And those traditional responses are things like promotes tourism, promotes quality of life, quality of place, economic development, that businesses want to move to communities where there are things for families to do. And those are all valid, and they're especially valid when you're bosses in the house. As the deputy city manager, which Deidre would be with. And to Deidre's right, city attorney Jennifer Ritchie, and to her left, or Jennifer, get away from me. And to Deidre's left is Brian Cole, assistant city manager. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for supporting the zoo in the ways that you do. So as much as these reasons that you see up here are important to city government, the interesting thing about that is community members want more. In this slide, nobody's expecting to read the numbers on this slide. So I'm going to tell you what this slide is capturing a snapshot. It's survey responses from 2008 to 2016. The question that was asked was simply, do you have a favorable opinion of zoos? You can see where that answer, where that response was trending down towards no. So, as a national accrediting organization, we dug into this question. And what we found was, when people were asked the question a little bit differently, do you have a favorable opinion about your zoo? The responses were going up. So what that tells us is that throughout North America, that idea of people keeping animals under human care is becoming less favorable. But when people are asked about the zoo that they know that they go to, that favorability increases because people want more. They have higher demands for what a zoo does now. So that's going to take us to this question. Are zoos conservation organizations? Well, a lot of the numbers will say yes. There are 243 AZA accredited zoos, of which Cameron Park Zoo is one. Last year, in 2023, collectively, we gave about $250 million to in situ conservation work. People that come to the Cameron Park Zoo today are going to contribute to that conservation that's going on in different parts of the world. In 2017, we formed a program called SAFE, Saving Animals from Extinction. Since that time that program was formed, we are now working on 40 programs throughout the world that have collectively spent just over $1.3 million. So, in that aspect, yes, zoos are conservation organizations. The Cameron Park Zoo has, go ahead. Cameron Park Zoo has 10 specific programs that we call our spotlight species, that we have these animals, or zoos have these animals in our collection and support field conservation work in the range or territories where these animals live. We do that through our support society. Now this slide, I'm hoping you can see it. Now, it's a little hard. Anyway, on the right-hand side of the slide, that shows you where we are working in the wild, where you see the little animal icons. On the left-hand side, those are our biggest challenges towards conservation. And there's one thing that all of those challenges have in common. So what we know now is that conservation is not a wildlife problem. Conservation is a people problem. And if we're truly going to conserve wildlife, we've got to change behaviors of people. So we're also members of the World Association of Zoos and Aquariums, who have taken the United Nations global goals and identified ways that local zoos throughout the world can make a difference in establishing human behavior change that will positively impact people. If you are a person in this room that has heard me say, I'm interested in STEAM, this is why. If you've heard me say that I'm concerned about hunger problems in our community, this is why. Because if we're going to solve wildlife conservation problems, we're only going to be able to do that if our communities themselves are helped. So this approach to conservation through sustainability efforts makes a lot of sense. And it makes sense because of this. Accredited zoos see more visitation than all of the professional sports combined in a single year, year after year. Like that favorability trend showed, people trust their local zoo. The local zoo already has a broad audience that is already communicating. We've got the reach. So with this in mind, our team, your team, at the Cameron Park Zoo, is reframing its mission around conservation, education, animal wellness, guest experience, and storytelling. We've got to do a better job at telling our stories so that everyone that comes to the Cameron Park Zoo believes they are participating in our mission, that they are contributing to conservation. So I want to tell a couple of stories that have just amazed me in my almost first 6 months here at the Cameron Park Zoo. So this slide shows 3 different animals at the top. 4, actually, but this one pops out 3. The one on the left is a beautiful African elephant. His name is Kimbo. She'll be 48 years old on our Independence Day. The average lifespan of an African elephant is 39.9 years old. So she's up. And every day I get to see our team of people. He has even heard extra special based on her age to help her run. The tiger lives in the middle. He's 15 years old. His name is Hussein. Someone on our staff noticed that his guns were bad. And that's really strange right now. Was working. But as it turns out, they worked. A couple days later, during Moses' it was determined that his wound is incredibly oversized. So, started on some steroid treatments, was able to get a biopsy a couple weeks later. That tiger is now in he's completed his second round of chemotherapy, trying to shrink the cancer in his spleen and manage his size so that spleen can be removed. When I first heard this story in a senior manager staff meeting, I looked at our veterinarian and said, we need to start telling this story because most likely we're going to be euthanizing this tiger in the next week or so. And he looked back and said, I don't know about that. And sure enough,
We rotate caregivers.
he was right. Now, 15 years old, first mountain tiger, makes him third oldest Sumatran tiger. Third oldest man that we're aware of. This treatment made by this tiger another year. But what it provides science and technology is priceless. That's converting accuracy. The rhino on the right, the farthest picture, his name is Jonathan. He's 44 years old. He's what I kind of consider to be, he's not in long-term care yet, but he's right on that line. And just in the past 2 months, we've had specialists in to look at his feet. We've changed how we manage him because our staff cares about every individual animal that lives in our zoo. So this is my favorite story of all. This is the story that told me I moved to the right place and I worked at the right zoo. This is a little dick ticker, one of the smallest African antelope. And her name is Naomi. And when she was pretty young, about 6 months old, she got food, ran into his fence. If you want to go to the next slide. So I'll explain what I wish you could see better. She is actually in a hand-built scooter. And if you see her hind legs, she's partially paralyzed. So a hip can't survive that long.
It's just life.
Lives with people who, one of them reached out to a researcher in Michigan who is developing some stem cell therapies for different animals. So we send her serum there.
No, I can't even find it.
That researcher developed stem cells, and she was done through treatment of that stem cell therapy.
States, your biggest
It is
issue.
showing some very preliminary signs that that may be helping her condition. And there is still hope
We
that she
can't
will
find salespeople.
not only be able to walk,
We can't find
but
technicians.
live a very
We're training
normal
for that.
life
And they make big money.
because of don't know
There's no
how the
dream.
story is going to end yet,
Dream.
but I know that I'm working with the right people who are
There's
committed
still so much
to
opportunity.
everything within their power to give her the right opportunity.
I can't go about this anymore because I can't.
Okay, so
40 years.
if we're talking
Just
about
our business, but we can't. We just
conservation,
can't grow. We run
It's
every,
ready.
how there's no competition like the.
the right words that challenge the right behavior
We maintain
of the
what we
people
have,
that
but I'm
we
gonna
need.
go to get all the new.
We pretty much have to walk that walk, right?
So.
So remember when I compared a $11 million budget to 8.8, she said, well, actually, the 8.8 is more.
Now, you go to the bigger cities.
We started talking about
But like right here,
ways
you know,
we
they,
can be more
as soon
efficient.
as they get the diploma, they're already. packed
What
up.
can we do to do our part to
TSTC
serve?
supplying.
When I interviewed
They have
for this job,
contracts
it
now
was
with big
all about
corporations, and they don't even give
going
a
on.
crap. Why
Insurance.
should they not try to get some local?
Water
programs?
restrictions
So it's just
is
kind
a
of.
part of everyone.
They used to have a good IT.
So
They don't do
we're on
that.
a quest
Which
to
is very
reduce
important to have.
our water usage
So,
at the
I
Cameron
have
Park
lots of friends in
by 100 million
Dallas,
gallons of water
Houston,
per year.
no trouble finding people. San
And we're
Antonio.
going to do,
And
then what we do is we're gonna tell the story as to how we did it and why we did it. Now, these 4 bullets that are up here, given what that water feature is at the front entrance to
I
the
don't know who's feeding these people,
that is the one that's going to be
but
take
everybody's
the
got homes
longest
and
time
cars and
to
stuff. There's
actually
one guy that
put
could
that stone fixing.
If it's illegal, I'd like
But
to know so I
another,
could
a
join the
number
deal.
of other water features that run the have already been redesigned and
I've had
recirculated
somebody come up
water
with
features.
a
So we still have the
Nobody,
same
these
stuff
kids that are working with, they get all
But we're
over
doing it.
TikTok.
with much more of a
Can you really
conservation
make that much
approach
money off of TikTok?
behind it. So there's got to be somebody in this room from Baylor, right? Thanks, Charlie. So we, said, hey, Baylor's got, and this week, society, the society does the parking, I think the Cameron Park. So the Baylor thing kind of looks like they got it going on. So we talked to Baylor about
Just thinking in 30
what it looks
years,
like
one of the
for
biggest
us
cities in
to
the state.
advertise.
Then they say,
And,
it's competition.
You get a very professional presentation back when you ask
When I
Baylor.
first came to Waco, they tried to keep
So
me
this
out
is
of
one of the
business.
slides from that
I couldn't even
presentation.
imagine.
And I'm looking at that going, well, heck,
Right.
if Baylor
No,
can
they
say this,
didn't want it.
so can Cameron Park City.
People coming here.
That
So one industry,
within a certain
we
radius,
don't want any more.
within 3 hours
That's legal. So
of
finally,
Waco,
a bank from out of town.
there's 25 million people. Now, Cameron Park City, we're not concerned with all 25 million people. Who we are concerned with is about the 10 million people that live mid-Dallas down to just south of Austin. Because we know we are already drawing people from that location. So earlier in this presentation, I said our goal is to get to an annual attendance of 435,000 people. We know it's possible because we know what the populations are around. We're already drawing schools from that area. As we increase our population, several things happen. All those traditional wives, the tourism spends, the extra trips to our community, all of those wives continue to happen. But at the same time, if we are an organization that is walking our talk and making those connections with people, then conservation is a people problem, and encouraging those people to make small little changes that affect wildlife, have a world play. building an amazing new penguin experience at the Cameron Park Zoo. And this experience is going to feature a colony of 22 black-footed penguins. Directly across from that enclosure is going to be a black-footed cat space. The center, a beautiful African Plaza area. This experience is designed to bring people to our zoo so that we can influence them about our cause and make food conservation action happen. We hope to see that experience open sometime in August. It will happen sometime in August. Promise. It better. I don't have much air left, it can go great. So, a few weeks after that, we're going to open a new education center at the Cameron Park Zoo. This education facility is going to allow us the opportunity to very quickly double our education programs and probably at the same time triple the reach that our education programs have. You can, every aspect of this education center is going to be able to take the stories we need to tell to people that come to the zoo, but also from the zoo into classrooms, wherever those classrooms may be. With the education center, we're opening a new veterinary hospital. If you haven't already figured it out, the animals at the Cameron Park Zoo receive top-notch health care. One of our key focuses as an organization is the wellness that exists with our animals that live at our zoo. And we may be the first zoo to take an approach that the quality of life that we provide to the animals that live there actually exceeds the quality of life of their wild counterparts. That is how progressive our team is, and this new veterinary facility is just going to continue to advance the level of care that those animals receive. All right, so we can go on to the next one. So we do all this, and the we that I'm talking about in that sentence is the Central Texas community where Waco lives in the heart. We do all of this because it matters. We do all of this because the animals that we work with are more safe. Now, I mentioned earlier that Rotary is important. I should really try to follow that presentation, but that's all right. So, I started this with showing you a bunch of numbers. Here's 3 more. Only these are your numbers. Or maybe I should say, our numbers. So it's just something to think about. If the global cause of Rotary International is to eradicate polio, and in some ways you can say that that's close to being accomplished, what might be next for Rotary to take on? So if you're not aware, there are 35,000 Rotary clubs just like this. Not as good as this one. In 220 countries around the world, with a combined membership of 1.4 million Rotarians. If our way to change the world is to engage with people and inspire those people to make small little behavior changes, think about the impact that we can have together for what? The executive director of the society was also going to be joining us until her board changed a meeting from last week to today. Her name is Christy Webb. Christy is absolutely wonderful. Please feel free. I left some of my business cards on the table, some of our fun penguin stickers, the coin brought, but please feel free to contact any one of us. We want to help, we want to collaborate, we want to be engaged.
Does anybody want to ask questions? Do you want to ask a few questions?
So, are we going to have a meeting with the team, like,
So the question is, do we have any type of meet and greet planned for the penguin? This penguin experience that was developed is truly state of the art. Which sometimes the state of the art, you kind of have to wait to see how it all works out. So yes, we do have a penguin encounter built into the exhibit, but it's designed to let the penguins choose whether or not they want to encounter with people. So, we're going to try it out. When the penguins get here, we're going to have to actually meet the penguins and learn their personality, see if we need to actually train that behavior to want to go hang out with people. But short answer, yes. When will it start? We're going to have to wait and meet the birds.
So, Mr. Wyden, can you add a little color to what you mean by saturation rate?
Sure. So when we look at a number of different attractions do this, they will look at their annual attendance compared to the U.S. Census Bureau's metropolitan statistical area. Divide your attendance by the MSA rate, and that yields a saturation rate. And what's remarkable about communities this size is they actually have more engagement and more impact with more of the community.
Acquisition animals.
Yes.
The competition out there for quality animals at a certain age, based on the price, I'm sure there's a correlating price taking on the side. How competitive is that out there right now? All the zoos, to get really quality animals.
So, great question. It's not very romantic anymore. We look at every animal, we evaluate its genetics, and we look for the appropriate genetic parent. So from that perspective, if we were to build a gorilla exhibit tomorrow, and we had room for 10 gorillas, a population management center at the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago is going to look at a spreadsheet and assign us 10 numbers. And the only thing it's going to cost to get those 10 gorillas is the shipping to get them here. So from that standpoint, it's really easy. Where it gets hard is in how much fewer animals there are now than there were even 15 years ago. We're getting ready to open up a black-footed cat facility with one black-footed cat, because there's only 27 left in North American zoos. So we're going to become one of 13 zoos
Yeah.
that are really going to try to buckle down and breed the heck out of them responsibly and genetically appropriately to try to get that species with enough specimens that we can continue to manage them.
I do want to tell you a story, Brenda, that you'll find amusing. About 4 years ago, our Rotary Club here in Waco hosted our district conference. And so on the first night of the conference, we had a social out at the zoo. And they had a couple of the exhibits open and people raved about that. About 2 weeks ago, I was at this year's Rotary Conference, and several people reminded me of how much they enjoyed the zoo. They had actually come back to Waco to visit the zoo. So that's my first Rotary story for you. The second one is, we have applications that you should come to Rotary. I want to re-welcome our guests. Thank you for coming today. If you have any interest in joining our club, we have applications for you also. Our next meeting is June the 10th. I think that sounds like a long way away, but it is the second Monday of June. And we have twofer, as they say in Texas. We're going to have the awards of college scholarships, and we also have Jim Halbert with MCAD. So that's our news of the day, I suppose. If you will stand, join me in the full respect. We did. Rotary is adjourned.